I want to get back to this car thing that you can't modify vehicles.
Libertarian for the RPM Act, and if anybody's not familiar with that, they're trying to ban race cars. They're trying to say that you can't take a registered vehicle and modify it in any way for performance, and even the modifications that improve fuel mileage, you can't do that.
I'm a mechanical engineer from the University of Minnesota, and my degree is oriented in power and propulsion. So I can go through the theory of how this stuff works. I can look at graphs and explain it and all kinds of stuff.
So what is SEMA, or the Specialty Equipment Market Association? Well, it's a group formed in 1963 to bring together manufacturers and consumers of aftermarket performance automobile parts. They started doing shows out in LA and eventually moved to Vegas, and now their most recent shows are in Vegas to showcase to people that they can see what they can do, how they can modify, how they can build their own vehicles if that's what they choose to do. It's no different than any other show or any other group promoting their products, like home shows or renewable energy shows or any kind of shows. SEMA strongly supports the RPM Act, which reverses the EPA's interpretation. Clean Air Act does not allow a motor vehicle designated for street use, including car, truck, or motorcycle, to be converted into a dedicated race car. Manufacturing, selling, and installing race parts for the converted vehicle would be a violation as well. What the EPA, a non-elected body, is doing is interpreting or making up their own mind what they think these words that they've been given say, and they're trying to say, you know what? This part of America, we're going to do away with. We're going to put these small businesses out of business. Listen to this. Motorsports competition involves tens of thousands of participants and vehicle owners each year, both amateur and professional. Retail sales of racing products make up nearly $2 billion market annually. $2 billion. They're trying, look at that, 1,300 racetracks across the country. We're talking about a significant portion of people, a significant number of businesses, and a significant amount of money that the EPA wants to arbitrarily shut down. Now, although the EPA did not finalize the proposed rule, not law, the agency still maintains the practice of modifying the emission system of a motor vehicle for the purpose of converting it to racing is illegal. Illegal. Okay. Oh my. Criminal. Manufacturing, selling, and installing race parts for the converted vehicle would also be a violation. The EPA has also announced that enforcement against high-performance parts, including superchargers, tuners, and exhaust systems, is a top priority. So that's what we have. The Environmental Protection Agency has chosen to outlaw a significant portion of our population over some idea that they think they're going to save the environment somehow by going after these people, by putting these people out of business and by taking this life out of people's hands.
I just don't get it. Micromanaging a small percentage of the population in order to mask everything else is just ridiculous. We all remember smog stations, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We still have them.
Complete taxpayer money and complete waste of time. One of my instructors for my senior level mechanical internal combustion engines class was talking about when he went in front of Society of Automotive Engineers and gave a speech. And he went through a bunch of data, and he basically explained to them that smog stations cost a lot of money, have very little return, and hurt the people who need the vehicles the most and don't have the money the most. While, especially in a place like Minnesota, vehicle turnover is so high because of assaults and accidents or whatever, that improving the fleet has marked returns compared to going after individual little people. And that's exactly what they're doing here. What they're talking about is 100% ridiculous. It's time science get back involved in things. And that's what drives me nuts. Because let's take the Chevy 350 I had in my 1973 Monte Carlo. That was 260 horse and had a quadrajet 4-barrel on it. I tell you, that was a fun car to drive. It lasted me about, I bought it at 70,000, I think, and it lasted me to maybe 110. And my 96 Chevy pickup truck, which I still own, I bought it a year old with 13,000 miles and now has 205,000 miles on it. Same engine, Chevy 350 with 260 horsepower. The difference is the quadrojet 4-barrel versus fuel injection in 96. And that Monte Carlo got 8 miles to the gallon, period. Worse, but it did not do well going across country. 96 Chevy, 23 years later, it's 15 miles to the gallon, and it's a pickup truck. So it gets twice the mileage. Not because of any government regulation and not because of any smog station or anything like that, but because of vehicle improvement over the years. And the government likes to take credit for that, okay, by saying, oh, we set all these rules and, efficiency and all this. That's all a smoke and mirrors game, because the big car companies will make a few cars super efficient to make up for the other vehicles. Okay, they play their way around this, and it's just numbers to them. Okay, but what's going to end up happening because of government regulations is that everything we drive is going to be a different size, shape, colored egg of some sort, because that's the most aerodynamic. And you run out of ways to improve efficiency. We did a calculation with that Chevy 350, given standard octane gas or whatever it needed. And we found that theoretically, it can never get better than 35 miles to the gallon, period. So everything from that 35 miles per gallon back is all losses in the engine and heat. The tires to the road are the biggest friction right now. So everybody, that's what we should really be improving, is getting lift under vehicles while they're driving a little bit, and having tires that don't have so much friction to the road. Okay, so there's things you can do, but over regulation and picking on small people like race car enthusiasts, it's just going after. And I hate to say it's the left going after the right. Is all it is, and playing games and say, hey, we got power to do this right now, so we're going to do it. And all it does is affect the people who can't afford it most. So there you go.
Yeah. Like most laws, that's exactly what it does. You lay it out perfectly, but in the end, that's what it boils down to. It's a law for poor people to keep them poor, to keep the rich richer and the poor poorer. Like I said, here in the Valley, it's ridiculous. But in Maricopa County, actually, not all of Arizona, but at least in Maricopa County, that we have our smog stations, and every 2 years you have to take your car in. And it's ridiculous because, number one, if your check engine light is on for something, totally meaningless to the functionality of your car and the emission output and everything, like the oxygen sensor is bad or something, or your thermostat is messing with you or whatever, sticky or something, anything or just if your check engine light is on by mistake, because the stupid thing is on, you fail. You can't pass the emissions. You're not allowed.
If your check engine light is on because the check engine light needs work.
Right. Yeah. Because the check engine light glitched out or whatever. Who knows? But the point is, it's so ridiculous and draconian, because I keep thinking to myself, what was it? I don't remember what kind of vehicle it was, but it was I think it was one of the garbage trucks or something. It was something right by the smog station. And I was like, they won't let this car in front of me. They failed because they had a check engine light, because the lady was yelling and screaming because she needed to get her car registered. You know what I mean? And it's ruining her life because of this stupid technicality light. And this big ass government vehicle goes driving by, pumping black soot out of the fucking top of it. You know what I mean? And it was almost like, I wish I had a camera going of this poor lady being told, no, your car is not worthy of the road because it's too poisonous and it'll damage the environment, and a government vehicle going across in the background pouring out more shit than her car would ever produce. What
I gotta say about all of this, we're talking about these poor little people who can't afford to go get it fixed in the first place. I'll tell you what, why don't we not have another war? Why not have another war game? Let's reduce flight ops for the military and other maneuvers, and then let's see how much we save, because those things don't have any pollution control limits on them, and they do whatever the hell they want to do. I saw it on the carrier. We dumped the garbage right in the ocean.
And the United States military is the #1 polluter on the planet.
There you
as far
go.
as I've heard. So
Quit picking on us, okay?
right,
Leave us
right,
alone.
right.
Minnesota used to have smog stations. They don't anymore. So I'm glad they woke up. But I got a buddy in Massachusetts, and when he goes there, they make him paint the car if it's rusty. I mean, it's ridiculous what's
That's
going
insane.
on. Talk about, well, how is that affecting the health, safety, or welfare of anybody?
Yeah, that's insane. That's next level. Mike Freeman on YouTube here. He's got a question. Aren't they engineering cars to squat on the road? My tractor trailer only has wind speed of 5 miles per hour under it and at 65 miles per hour. I understand why, but is there a better way to do it?
Good question. For a truck, no. You want to get the truck down as low as you can,
right?
Because the less you have going under, the less turbulence is going to be created, and the better mileage you're going to have. And those things have such terrible mileage to start out with. A 10% gain is a huge difference.
Right.
Okay, but when you're talking auto vehicles, especially when we get them controlled, and nobody's driving anymore, and they're all being run by AI, and we're all going to be at the will of the computer. But when we're at the will of that, the most way to be efficient is to get the most weight off the road you can while you're driving down the road. Okay, for especially because trucks are not aerodynamic. They're doing everything they can to make them aerodynamic. Cars, come on now, you got to admit, since we were kids and everything was boxy and square, sure have gone oval, haven't they?
Yeah, they've come a long way, man. I remember cars back in the day, the big boats and stuff, like a big Cadillac. Those things sway when you drive them. You know, they have so much weight, and they throws that weight around, man. But now cars are so light, and I don't know.
More fun than driving that 73 Monte Carlo cross country with the whole front half of the car with engine, right? Back then, vehicles lasted how long? 70, 80,000 miles. If you got to 100,000 miles, it was a miracle. You know, when I bought my 96 truck, it came with a 100,000 mile warranty. Okay, they don't do that anymore because they can't afford it. But I got one truck with almost 250,000 miles on it, 2007, 2,500. My other one's got 205 or more. Yeah. I mean, these things, if you take care of them, don't abuse them, they'll last forever.
How the turbine guy reads everything here and what's going on, I see is professional racing is going to be just fine because they aren't going to ever buy anything registered for the street. They can modify and do whatever they want to. But what this does is this takes the hand out of the novices, the people who want to get in, who say, you know what, I got me a car over here that I can get for $500. I can put this engine and build it for $2,000, and then I can put another $2,000 into the suspension, and maybe I can go to the track and have some fun. No, you can't do that anymore. They are taking our rights away. I need people to understand this. The idea that the EPA continually nits and picks and takes rights away through rules, not laws, through rules that they admit that they interpret these rules. They take our rights away, take our livelihood away, take our fun away. Yet, the United States is in more countries than the rest of the world. The United States bombs people all over the world. The United States runs military, and if you look at this, the military, the Air Force, and the Navy are the two largest polluters in the United States. It's not race car drivers, which is a minuscule portion of potential pollution. Okay, it's the U.S. military. That keeps expanding. We keep getting in more countries. We keep growing. And we got the EPA sitting here nitpicking at people like you and me who just want to live their lives. Hey, I wanted to go green. I ended up in jail for a useless buried chunk of concrete. And I was trying to warn people. I was trying to warn them this could happen to you too. And this story right here shows it. EPA interprets something, makes a rule, and takes your rights away. And then we have to stand up and make legislation that only protects part of us, the professionals. Turbine guy says this is wrong, and I know you agree with me. Signing off.